Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's got everything: international drama, academic intrigue, last-minute chaos, and accusations flying in every direction. We're talking about the highly anticipated Oxford Union debate that was supposed to happen on November 27th, but ended up collapsing into a public spectacle of blame and recrimination. The motion on the table was a spicy one. The House believes that India's response to Pakistan is a populist strategy sold as security policy. It was set to be a major intellectual showdown, but what transpired was less of a debate and more of a farce. So what exactly went wrong? Let's break it down. The whole affair unraveled spectacularly, leaving a trail of conflicting stories and heated social media posts. On one side, we have prominent Indian lawyer and speaker J Sai Deepak, who was slated to argue against the motion. On the other, the Pakistan High Commission in London. Both sides have completely different versions of why the debate never happened. Let's start with J Sai Deepak's side of the story, which he laid out in a detailed account on X, formerly known as Twitter. According to him, the event was plagued with issues from the very beginning. He pointed out what he saw as a significant conflict of interest within the Oxford Union's leadership. He specifically named the union's president, Muzaharai, alleging he is the son of Pakistan's Minister of Defense Production, and the treasurer, Raza Nazar, who is also a Pakistani national. Deepak suggested that having individuals with such direct ties to the Pakistani state in key organizational roles was a recipe for trouble. The problems didn't stop there. The Indian side's lineup was shaky from the get-go. The original high-profile speakers, former Indian Army Chief General M.M. Naravain and politician Dr. Subramanian Swamy, had to pull out just 2 days before the event due to unavoidable commitments. This sent the organizers scrambling for replacements. J Sai Deepak, who was already prepared to argue for India, stepped up and managed to bring in 2 UK-based speakers, Manu Khajuria and Pandit Satish K. Sharma, on extremely short notice. So despite the last-minute changes, the Indian team was ready to go. The real drama, however, unfolded on the day of the debate itself, November 27th. Just hours before they were scheduled to take the stage, the situation took a bizarre turn. Deepak says he received a call at 3:13 p.m., informing him that the Pakistani delegation had not yet landed in London. This delegation was supposed to include high-profile figures like former Pakistani Foreign Minister Hina Rabbani Kar and Defense Minister Khawaja Muhammad Asif. Hearing that their opponents hadn't even arrived in the country, the Indian team, understandably, decided to abandon their journey to Oxford. Why travel all that way for a debate that wasn't going to happen? But this is where the story gets even stranger. A little while later, Deepak claims he received confirmation that the Pakistani delegation had in fact landed. Not only that, they were reportedly already in Oxford, staying at a local hotel. This new information completely changed the narrative. If the Pakistani team was in Oxford all along, why was the Indian team told they hadn't landed? This revelation led Deepak to launch a blistering attack on social media. He accused the Pakistani side of deserting the battlefield even before the battle begins. He suggested that they lacked the courage to face a live, unscripted debate and had deliberately engineered the situation to avoid a direct confrontation. He didn't spare the Oxford Union leadership either, criticizing them for allowing their prestigious institution to be, in his words, dragged in muck, and effectively become a mouthpiece for the Pakistan High Commission. He felt the union's handling of the situation was a major organizational failure that damaged its reputation for neutrality and intellectual rigor. Adding to the chorus from the Indian side was Priyanka Chaturvedi, a member of parliament from the Shiv Sena UBT party. She took to X to share her thoughts, saying, "Pakistan is crying again over an Oxford Union debate. This is for the record. Once again they have proved to be liars." Expecting any better from them was not even on my list. Her post essentially echoed Deepak's sentiment that the Pakistani side had been dishonest about their intentions and availability. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. The Pakistan High Commission in London released its own official statement, and it tells a completely different story. Their version paints the Indian side as the one responsible for the collapse of the debate. The statement expressed regret that the Indian delegation had withdrawn at the last minute. They pointed to the initially advertised lineup of General Naravain, Dr. Swamy, and another politician, Sachin Pilot, and framed their collective absence as a walkover. According to the High Commission, this last-minute withdrawal was not a logistical issue but a strategic one. They suggested it demonstrated a lack of confidence from the Indian side. They implied that India was unwilling to defend its security policy in what they described as a neutral and intellectually rigorous debate at a world-renowned forum like the Oxford Union. In their narrative, Pakistan was ready and waiting, but India backed out, effectively handing them a victory by default. So who do you believe? We have two diametrically opposed accounts. J Sai Deepak alleges a deliberate Pakistani gambit involving misinformation about travel plans, designed to scuttle the debate and avoid facing tough questions. He points to the alleged conflict of interest within the Oxford Union's leadership as a contributing factor. The Pakistan High Commission, meanwhile, claims the Indian side simply got cold feet and withdrew because they couldn't defend their position, turning the whole affair into a walkover. The Oxford Union, caught in the middle of this diplomatic crossfire, has faced significant criticism. For an institution that prides itself on being a premier global platform for free speech and robust debate, this incident has been a major embarrassment. The core of the issue seems to be a catastrophic communication breakdown. Was the Indian team deliberately misled about the Pakistani team's arrival? Or was it a genuine, albeit massive, logistical blunder by the student-run organization? One thing is certain, the motion itself was highly contentious. The idea that India's security policy towards Pakistan is merely a populist strategy is a provocative claim. It touches upon sensitive issues of nationalism, domestic politics, and the very real security threats that exist in the region. A debate on this topic at a platform like Oxford would have drawn global attention. Proponents of the motion would likely have argued that the Indian government uses a hardline stance against Pakistan to rally domestic support and win elections, sometimes at the expense of genuine long-term security solutions. They might have pointed to specific military actions or political rhetoric as evidence of this populist approach. On the other hand, those opposing the motion, like J Sai Deepak and his team, would have argued that India's actions are a necessary and measured response to decades of cross-border terrorism and aggression. They would have presented evidence of Pakistan as alleged support for militant groups and argued that India's security policy is based on a realistic assessment of the threats it faces, not on political opportunism. They would have asserted that ensuring national security is the primary duty of any government, and portraying it as mere populism is a gross oversimplification that ignores the complex geopolitical reality. The cancellation of the debate means we were all deprived of seeing these arguments clash. Instead of an intellectual contest of ideas, we got a messy public spat. The incident highlights the immense challenges of hosting debates on such politically charged topics, especially when they involve representatives with strong ties to their respective national establishments. The lines between academic discourse and nationalistic posturing can become blurred very quickly. Ultimately, the collapse of the Oxford Union debate is a cautionary tale. It shows how easily misinformation and mistrust can derail even the most well-intentioned platforms for dialogue. Whether it was a calculated gambit, a series of unfortunate errors, or a bit of both, the outcome is the same: a lost opportunity for public discourse on a critical issue. The battle of ideas was replaced by a battle of press releases and social media posts, and the public is left to piece together the truth from conflicting narratives. What do you think really happened? Was it a deliberate act of sabotage or a colossal organizational failure? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into complex current events. We'll see you in the next one.